Good morning from the shop. Dave here. One of the questions I get asked a lot is how do you decide when you're making your boxes? How do you decide what kind of woods do you pair up? And so I want to try to answer that a little bit today anyway. First thing I end up doing is running over to the wood supply and picking out some of the exotic woods that I like to work with and trying to pair them up and figure out, I guess, first of all, what kind of joint am I going to use on the corners? I love box joints. Anybody who knows me, follows me, and has seen some of the work that I do know that I love box joints. I love the contrast in the woods at the corners, and therefore trying to pick contrasting woods. Now I picked out a few pieces that I've used in the past, and one in particular that I haven't. This particular wood, known as ivory wood, it's as you can see, kind of a really light yellow. I don't know what it finishes like, what kind of finish it will produce. If I look at, this is yellow heart, yellow wood. I know what this looks like. It has a really nice glimmer to it, much like the mahogany here. This I plan on pairing up with this piece of American walnut. I think that'll look nice. I need to figure out what kind of top I'm going to do. I have a real limited supply of this yellow heart, but I think if I pair it up with a straight walnut top to it, I think that'll look nice. So I'll set those aside. There's enough to make a nice size box for that. This ivory wood is of interest to me, and I have a pretty good supply of this. This has all been milled to 1/2 inch thickness. I like working with a 1/2 inch. I do some 3/8, which is what this is. Sometimes I get, depending on the size of the original stock, when I resaw, sometimes I can't get a full 1/2 inch out of what I cut off, so I'll mill it down to 3/8. So that's a 3/8 stuff. So I'm considering a few different woods for this. The Purple Heart, which make a nice contrast. This is Peruvian walnut, not significantly different in terms of color, but it has a different iridescence to it, I think, than the American walnut does. It's just different. It's just a tad bit darker, a little bit heavier. So we'll see. That would make a nice pairing. The Purple Heart would make a nice pairing. I also have some mahogany. It's got some really nice iridescence to it. I have a few other pieces of this mahogany that I can mill down to 1/2 inch stock. That might look nice, though that would look nice with the Peruvian walnut as well. This is a Padauk. Love working with this stuff. Nice, heavy, really hard wood. Finish is really nice. I think that would look nice with that lace wood. I've also got a supply of, actually, this is not lace wood. This is ivory wood. This is lace wood, or leopard wood, kind of the same, different name for the same piece of wood. So I've got an idea about doing sliding tops, and this is a remnant of what I put together for the one box that I made. So this might make a nice sliding top for either canary wood or the Padauk, maybe the Purple Heart, if I made the whole box out of Purple Heart or Padauk and just had this as the accent piece for the slide-in top. Those are not box joints, but rather miter joints. I haven't figured it out, but this is how the whole process starts for me. Is just going to the stockpile and pulling out different pieces of wood, and then making the decision on what kind of joints am I gonna have, what size box am I gonna use. It's just this kind of creative process that is both interesting for me because I like to have something that's different, unique. I want people to look at it and go, "Ooh, that's a cool combination of different kinds of wood," and you get the comments of, "Well, that really produces a nice iridescence to it in different lights." So I'm also thinking about what kind of finish am I going to put on. The stuff with the iridescent responds really well to a gloss oil finish, where some of the other ones maybe want a little bit more of a subdued finish to it, maybe just something that highlights the color as opposed to the iridescence. And the colors on the Purple Heart and the Padauk respond well to, maybe I'll put a Odie's oil or a beeswax finish on it, which is really nice and easy to maintain. Responds well to, these things that get used and you might get some scratches on it. It's pretty easy to just put another coat of wax on it and it hides those scratches and little minor blemishes that happen through the course of using it over the years. But so the process starts here, and I'm thinking about the physical size of the box, and also here comes she who must be obeyed, going to tell me that she's leaving to go buy some more plants or something. See you later. Bye. So what about the size of the box, the depth of the box, the outer physical size? The 5x8 is kind of a nice size, smallish, but still has some kind of a presence when it's set out for display. I've also done some even smaller boxes, which is kind of what I'm thinking about as I look at these pieces of wood. So it's kind of where it starts. What are you going to do? What kind of joints are you going to put on? And I'll make my decision, and we'll kind of go from there. And I'll take you along the journey of how do we ultimately end up with a box when we start with what kind of wood do we have that's available. I've got a good supplier of exotic woods, and I can always run up there and grab something. The only thing that I haven't seen ever at any store is this ivory wood, and I happened upon this piece when I bought a bunch of wood from an individual who was retiring, and he was kind of giving it all up and saying, "I'm done, moving to Florida, and I want to sell my supply of wood." So I bought some oak and alder, and this was kind of that surprise piece. Now, what you need to know about some of these woods is this ivory wood, if you don't put a finish on it and seal it up, it'll oxidize and it'll turn a brown, almost like alder. So it'll turn a dark brown. Right now it's a nice brighter yellow. Same thing with the Purple Heart. Ultimately, if you don't protect it from the UV, it'll oxidize, it'll turn brown, and this Padauk will kind of do the same thing. So it's interesting how you need to figure out what kind of finish are you going to put on it. You're going to need to put some kind of a UV protectant on it so that it doesn't lose its luster throughout the years. So this is where the process starts. And again, I'll take you along on the journey, and together we'll figure it out. Ultimately, we'll end up hopefully with a nice box or 3 or 4. I'll set up my box joint jig, and after I mill these up, I make the decision on what size. Then I'll produce all the carcasses, and that's the fun part about the process. Is once that jig is all set up and going, it's pretty easy to put the boxes together. The key to it all, of course, is to mill the opposing sides the exact same length, and once you get that done, it's pretty easy to put a box with all 4 corners that are square. So get ready for the journey. It starts today. I'll let you know where we go from here. You guys have a good day. It is springtime, so there'll probably be less box making, because box making for me is mostly a winter operation. But the plan is to put some more together. I've done 102, I think is the number. 102, 103. I think it's 102. So we're starting the journey to 200. And I'm already starting to think about what are the kinds of crazy things can I do. I considered doing something like this with these kinds of woods, and experimenting more with the width of the stripes in it. If I want to do a kind of not monochrome, but a two-tone, what would that look like? And it's just kind of a fun process for me, but it all starts here. So you guys have a good day. We'll catch you on the next video. God's blessings to each and every one of you. Have a good day.